What's up with it, man? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get each and every one of my videos. Now, last night was a big test for us, believe it or not, as we faced off with one of the hottest teams in the NBA and won the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it was a monster performance from Joel Embiid, having uh, an very impactful triple double as we defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 103 to 93. Um, Joel Embiid was magnificent. He had 40 points, 14 rebounds, but I thought what was also very impressive was the fact that he had 10 assists. Okay. Um, he while he's known for more of his shots and his moves and his offensive game per se. He could be a passer when he really wants to. And when you got guys that are hitting from everywhere, including Maxi, Harris, and the other that chipped in as well, because Shake Milton just came out of nowhere. Korkmaz came out of nowhere, and even Danny Green, he chipped in a little bit and played uh, a lot more minutes than what was needed. Now, we pretty much controlled the whole entire game. I would say, with the exception of with the exception of the second and the third quarter. Uh, the Cleveland Cavaliers was led by Darius Garland, who had 27. Uh, Jared Allen had 13. Uh, Evan Mobley had 11. Wade had 10. And Karis LeVert had 11. And Osman had 12. Now, I know that Cleveland is still trying to gel with their new pieces. Uh, so I'm gonna, I'm not, I'm not gonna take this game too serious. But it was a great test for us because I know a lot of people would say, well, why would they be your biggest test? Hey, Cleveland is a hot team. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether people want to continue to focus on other teams or not, you got to realize that they are one of the hot teams right now. And they're actually on pace to actually put themselves in a great position to possibly get home court advantage if they want to, because if they go on a stretch where they continue winning, they could probably be first. Because they're third right now, and we're fifth. So we're also in a fighting position too. So like I said, they're one of the hottest teams. When you talk about top three, you gotta talk about the Suns, the Warriors, and the Grizzlies. And when we talk about the Western Conference, and see, a lot of people think that the Jazz just fell off or something like that. They're in position too, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not talking about the Western Conference. Primarily, the focus is the East. Now, here's the thing. Joel Embiid, he played great, and while he did play great and everything, we're gonna see if the dynamic is actually gonna change. We're gonna see if Joel Embiid can keep up the pace once James Harden play, because he's not going to play until Tuesday. So we're going to see how things are going to brew. Now, look, I'm not one of these fans, man, that hops off the bandwagon and says, "Oh, okay, well, you know what? I'm not watching no games no more. I'm gonna be a fan of another team or something like that." I don't do that type of shit, you know. Uh, but in the back of my mind, I still have what James Harden has done and his track record and stuff. However, I don't want any of that stuff that a lot of the brothers in the LDBC have predicted. Salute Porter. I've just been working up on my 28th birthday, and the Super Bowl is today. Okay, that's great, man. Salute to you, Jelly Bean. Now, and happy birthday, by the way. Now, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, you know what, nah, and automatically try to be fully negative about the situation. I want the situation to work out. I don't want to. I don't want it to unfold. What Polo, my 76ers be the playoff team, Cleveland. Why people not talking about us having a chance in the finals? Salute to you, Stephen Green. Well, I think the thing, Stephen Green, that we have to realize the reason why nobody takes the 76ers seriously is because of our track record. We don't have the greatest track record in the world. You got to understand, every time we get to the playoffs, we'll have somewhat of a decent regular season, and then next thing you know, what ends up happening, we end up folding. So a lot of people don't really aren't really taking us serious. But I feel that Joel Embiid is on a mission. I just want Joel Embiid to do three things. I want him to, one, stay healthy. That's the main thing. Stay healthy and be durable. Two, I want him to take the uh, take the trash talking and stuff like that to a minimum. You know what I'm saying? Which he's worked on for quite some time because he tends to he talks a lot of shit. Okay, and then three, you are gonna have to show up when it really matters. I mean, at the end of games in crunch time. Look, we know you had the torn meniscus last year and you were playing on it. Yes, that's admirable. I appreciate that. I commend that. But however, the guys on the opposition, they're not looking at it like that. They're looking at it like, okay, whether you're hurt or not, we're going to take advantage of that weakness and we're going to destroy you. And we're going to count it as a win. Nobody cared about, LeBron and AD, either being shorthanded or being hurt. Nobody cared about, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George being hurt with the Clippers. They didn't care about KD, you know, well, just being by himself and James Harden being not 100% and Kyrie being hurt as well. They're going to take full advantage of it. And Doc Rivers said that before. He said that whether you're hurt or whether you have this going on or you got that going on, they don't care. This is a cutthroat league and it's a savage league. Um, but that's what Joel Embiid has to do. He has to come out and he has to play with fierce. Now, another reason why they're not taking us serious either is because our coaching is not up to par, Stephen Green. Doc Rivers, and I'm gonna get on Doc right now. I've gotten on him before. Doc Rivers' rotations are not up to par. And then also, he still struggles with adjustments down the stretch. You see, every time he runs into, uh, a great coach, he tends to get out coached for the most part. In this game, you can't really say that he was working with what he was. He'll have roller coaster, he'll be very inconsistent, but for the most part, that's what people know. They know Doc Rivers is not being the X's and O's guy, and they know him for not being able to make proper adjustments down the stretch. So they capitalize on it. But I believe that Doc, I believe in Doc because he's on thin ice. Everybody knows that he's on thin ice right now, and he's got to get it done too. as well as Joel Embiid. It's not just on Joel Embiid or just on Doc. It's on both of them. It's on both of them. So we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what takes place. How do you think the trades affect the Sixers? I don't think I've asked you. All right, good question, Jelly Bean. Like I said, and I'll just explain just a few minutes ago, I'm remaining optimistic that the trade will help Philly. But as I've said before, Jelly Bean, you got, and I told Stephen Green this, you got two ball dominant individuals on a team. You know, Joel Embiid, he's a great player, MVP candidate, and everything. But he's still ball dominant, and he still is a ball stopper. The same thing with Harden. Now, Harden, he does it because he wants to get his stats, and he chooses to be selfish. Harden can distribute the ball if he wants to, but he chooses not to. Right, so we have to look. We'll have to look at that. Stephen Green, he plays on Tuesday. Um, but to answer your question, though, Jelly Bean, uh, we it affected us long term. As Stephen Green knows that we gave up two first rounders. I'm not worried about the. Oh yeah, we just got Harden or Millsap. The biggest thing is that we gave up shooting, of course, and Seth Curry, and we gave up two first rounders. So it affected us in the long term. It affected us in the long term, and I want to remain optimistic that it'll work out, but you know, it's going to be a personality. It, it it might be a personality clash too as well, because Doc is hard nosed. Whether some people want to believe it or not, Joel Embiid is hard nosed. You know what I'm saying? Joel Embiid is a workhorse, and Joel Embiid does get in the gym and work. That's one thing I will say. It might not look like it, but he works out in the off season. He plays around a lot. He jokes around a lot and stuff, but he really does work out hard. I mean, he works out with a number of guys. Go look at it. Go look at it online. He works out with DeAndre Ayton. He works out with Mo Bamba. He works out with Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? He works out with Thon Maker. Them guys all work out. They work out in the summer, or they have in the past. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that separated Joel Embiid from Ben Simmons' mentality, is the fact that he wanted to be in the gym working on what they said that he needed to improve on. The biggest thing was with Joel Embiid was his conditioning and his weight and him getting up and down the floor. And he worked on that. He came out lighter. However, last year still was struggling with that knee and everything. And also he needed to, work on being able to capitalize in the stretch. But that's a mental battle. But, for the most part, I really do feel that, if we're able to be cohesive and have good chemistry, the skies could be the limit for us. But if they're willing to give up two first rounders plus Ben Simmons and some shooters, you know, to the 76ers, you must be trying to really get a championship. But a lot of people don't know in Sixers Nation that what James Harden's track record is, and it's not good. It's not good. And I'm looking at it from a personnel standpoint. Everybody else is just looking at it from primarily from or personality, I should say, rather. They're looking at it from that like a playing standpoint. I'm looking at it from a personality standpoint. If you got player personalities problems clashing in the locker room, it has a detrimental effect on the court too as well. But some of y'all don't really pay attention to the game. You know, you pay attention to whether that guy's getting buckets and triple doubles and how many points he scored and how many. You don't really look at basketball truly for what it is, and that's how I look at it. That's why I knew we were crumbling from the get. And everybody's like, well, why you criticize Ben Simmons like that and stuff like that? It had nothing to do. The only thing that I criticize him about too is that he didn't want to get in the gym and he didn't want to work on his craft to get better. But as far as his talent and his athleticism and court vision and him being defensive and all that other stuff, yeah, he could do that. But he ain't got it up in the dome. He ain't got it cerebral. So we'll see how that works out there for him. But last thing I gotta say is, you know, Joel, while we sit here and we talk about Doc is on thin ice, Joel is on thin ice too. You talking about you happy? You talking about now everybody can move on? Look, they've made it clear to you. Now they pretty much have said, hey, we're giving you a superstar. You got, who you wanted or whatever. Now let's see if you could go ahead and get it done. And Joel Embiid's mentality has to be championship or bust. That's what it has to be. Just like some of the other great bigs, like a Shaquille O'Neal or like a Hakeem Olajuwon, even the Wilt Chamberlains, even the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, even the other great bigs in NBA history. So y'all let me know what you think, man. Like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notification. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I'll get at you later.